Settle in, get your coffee or your hot cocoa, cause it's fact time. Here are 50 amazing facts to blow your mind. Nicolas Cage has spent a total of $150 million on 15 different homes, including a haunted mansion, 2 islands, a dinosaur skull, a Lamborghini, exotic pets, and a rare vintage comic book. The first iPhone couldn't copy and paste text until 2 years after its release. Until 2022, the Japanese public school system's dress code required students to dye their hair black. One student was forced to dye her naturally brown hair black and was told to re-dye it every time her roots grew back. She was given academic penalties for not dyeing it often enough. There are 56 United States Vietnam War Medal of Honor recipients who received the medal for jumping on grenades and mines to save the lives of their comrades. Starfish Prime was the largest nuclear test in space. At 250 miles or over 402 kilometers in the air, it EMP'd 900 miles or almost 1,500 kilometers of Hawaii, frying electrical systems, cutting off burglar alarms, and shutting down 6+ satellites due to the months-long radiation belt. After 5 years, traces of the electrons still linger in space. As of the recording of this video, more than 40% of the United States roads are in poor or mediocre condition. The assessment of bridges, airports, and water infrastructure is similar. Tickets to the first Super Bowl cost just $12, which is approximately $106 in today's money when adjusted for inflation. Saint Valentine is also the patron saint of epilepsy. In 2006, some parents were upset with a sound book for children called Potty Time with Elmo. Instead of hearing, "Uh-oh, who has to go?" some parents were hearing, "Uh-oh, who wants to die?"
Not me!
The publisher said that a cheap computer chip that was used in the book was to blame for the problem. Nintendo actually gave Game Informer a sarcastic certificate as a response to GI's negative review of Mario Party 1 and 2. The mayor in High Wycombe, England has been weighed annually since 1678 to make sure that they didn't grow fat at taxpayer money. Unlike most birds, kiwis have horrible eyesight and are frequently prone to ophthalmological issues. As a result, they naturally rely so heavily on other senses that some have been found to have survived perfectly well, albeit completely blind in the wild for years. Despite publicly denouncing the film adaptation of his novel I Spit on Your Graves, Boris Vian attended the movie's premiere in 1959. A few minutes into the screening, he stood up and began shouting out his dissatisfaction with it, during which he suddenly collapsed and died. You used to be able to buy flight insurance from a vending machine for just 25 cents. However, the practice stopped due to scams, including a man who tried to commit insurance fraud by planting a bomb in his mother's things, killing 44 people. The first message ever sent on the internet was LO. They were attempting to write login and tried again an hour later, naturally starting with the letter L, meaning that the very first 3 letters ever typed on the internet was LOL. The Laborde's chameleon of Madagascar has an average lifespan of 4 to 5 months. This is shorter than the time it takes to develop as an embryo, which is 8 to 9 months. Cyndi Lauper sang a parody of her 1985 song The Goonies Are Good Enough for the Bob's Burgers Season 2 premiere, which aired in 2012. The episode is a parody of The Goonies. She said, "My son really wanted me to do it. He loves the show and was like, 'Come on, mom, it's hysterical, do it.'" In Italy, the killing of feral cats has been illegal since 1991. Feral cats in Italy have the right to live free. They're protected and cannot be removed from their colony. The colonies are cared for by associates of cat takers officially recognized by the authorities. By the 1970s, the black-footed ferret was declared extinct, only for a dog to bring one home to its owners in 1981 in Wyoming, allowing conservationists to find the last remaining population. For the movie Escape to New York in 1981, Snake Plissken's eye patch was suggested by Kurt Russell. He He pitched himself hard for the role of Snake Plissken, as he was very keen to shake off his Disney image. Nero's teenage brother died at a dinner party with his entire family present. Some of the guests were shocked, but Nero shrugged it off, saying it was normal as he was having epileptic seizures since birth, so they carried on the party without him. The Bic Crystal is the best-selling pen of all time, selling over 100 billion units, but had an infamously terrible spin-off. The Bic Crystal for Her was a pink version targeted at women that sold poorly and was publicly mocked and inducted into the Museum of Failure. Sunflower syndrome is a rare form of pediatric photosensitive epilepsy. The child is attracted to the sun, which is called heliotropism, or a bright light, waves their hand in front of their eyes to create a strobe and triggers seizure activity with lapses in consciousness and often feeling of relief. A plumber once found cash in checks stashed in a wall at Joel Osteen's Houston megachurch. In 1893, the town of Frostproof, Florida was named as a marketing ploy to convince potential landowners the town had never had and would never have a frost that could destroy the large citrus-driven economy. However, only a couple of years later, a frost killed most of the citrus in Frostproof. Marvel obtained the trademarks Hulk Hogan, Hulkster, and Hulkamania for 20 years, while the WWF agreed to no longer refer to Hogan as Incredible or Hulk, or even dress him in purple or green. Marvel also obtained $100 for each Hulk Hogan match and 10% of any earnings under his name. The 20Q or 20 Questions handheld game, a toy released in 2003 and famous for its scary level of accuracy, actually used a basic implementation of AI neural network. It used training data gathered from users of a web browser-based implementation of the game, which launched in 1994. Planet 9 is a hypothetical ninth planet in the outer region of our solar system. The planet has not been directly observed, but the gravitational effects of the planet could explain the unique orbits of bodies beyond Neptune, which orbit the sun as a single cluster. Okay, alright, you want love. My boy. I love you, kitty. This is young Ned. Okay, you only get a couple minutes here, my boy. Everybody loves you. I love you so much. Happy, healthy, safe. The Journal of Forensic Sciences looked at 400 movies and 126 fictional villains and concluded No Country for Old Men's Anton Chigurh is the most realistic villain. Amongst the debris recovered following the 2003 Space Shuttle Columbia disaster were containers holding worms carried as part of an experiment. The nematode worms were found to have survived the accident. Singer Hank Williams died less than 2 months after releasing his final single titled I'll Never Get Out of This World Alive. Texas liquor laws allow you to give away free alcoholic beverages without a permit. According to TABC, an alcoholic beverage is free if you make it available to any adult who enters a venue and requests it. There should be no expectation that you will receive a donation, tip, or payment. Before the 1872 photo series Horse in Motion, no one knew how horses move their legs in gallop, as it was too fast to see with the naked eye. Before then, they were frequently painted with their legs stretched out at both ends, which is not in fact a part of any horse gait. Samuel Colt threw laughing gas parties to invest in making his firearms. He traveled America calling himself a doctor performing demonstrations with nitrous oxide. In 2001, an Australian hacker used a laptop and a radio transmitter to take control of a local sewage system in Queensland and sent municipal sewage into parks, rivers, and public lands. He did this out of revenge against the department that had opposed his hiring request. For 358 years, mathematicians attempted to solve an equation scribbled within the margins of a textbook with the note that they had a proof but was too large to fit in the margin. It's still debated today whether Fermat had a solution in 1637 or wrote that just to entice other mathematicians. The guy who found the solution in 1995 took 7 years to prove it, and then after a a flaw was pointed out in his proof, he took another 2 years to fix it. Gene Simmons from the band Kiss was flattered to find out that he has a Pokemon look-alike. The Seinfeld episode The Contest, which is a classic by the way, was based on a real-life bet Larry David had made against a friend of his to find out who could go the longest without masturbating. The amount of the bet is unknown, however, it lasted only a few days, resulting in David's victory. The liquid breathing technology used in the movie Abyss in 1989 is real, and the rats used during filming were actually breathing in the shots. Keanu Reeves grew up with so many showbiz connections that Alice Cooper was once his babysitter. Scallops have 200 eyes, each with 2 retinas that use curved mirrors to focus light. Look at that. I just ruined scallops for you forever. Enjoy. Because it had a stainless steel body, the DeLorean's owner manual recommended using gasoline to clean it. Frank Sinatra was contractually obligated to be offered first refusal of John McClane in Die Hard. Teller of Penn & Teller legally changed his birth name to just Teller. He is only one of a few people to have a mononymous US passport. The life expectancy of people with Down syndrome has risen from 25 years old in 1983 to 60 years old today. A book club in California spent 28 years reading Finnegan's Wake by James Joyce, beginning in 1995 and finishing in October of 2023. At first, the club read 2 pages per month. However, it eventually slowed to just 1 page per month. In November, that group started the book again. From 1969 to 1972, Ford offered their cars in a color called anti-establishment mint. Sutton's law of medicine is to go with the obvious diagnosis first. The law is based on a supposed interview with a bank robber, Willie Sutton, where he explained why he robbed banks by saying, because that's where the money is. Woodrow Wilson is the only US president to have a PhD. Research shows that experiencing chronic loneliness is as bad for our health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day or worse than obesity. It's associated with an increased risk of coronary heart disease and stroke, and increases our likelihood of early mortality by 26%. So get out there and go see a human being. Other than that, skibbity bop babadoo bop, escape a libble doo. Thanks for watching. Bye. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this, please share it and leave a like. Both help me out a lot. And of course, an extra special thank you to my channel members who get exclusive access to the bloopers from this video, which is one of the clickable links on screen right now. I'll see you guys next time. Much love.